Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dr. Up. And we are excited about this episode because it is the beginning of the year 2025, and we're excited to both explore last year, kind of briefly go through it, talk about things that happened, some of the highlights. And then we're very eager to start this new year off with a lot of fresh energy and ensuring that we're on good footing for this upcoming year. So I guess we'll start by introducing ourselves so that you'll remember and be introduced if you're new to the channel to who we are. I'll start to my right with
Dr. Fee.
Dr. V, and I am Dr. Bob.
Dr. Cat.
And together we make Doctored Up, and we're excited to be with you. Remember, Doctored Up is a podcast that talks about our experiences as doctors and sharing them with you. And we look forward to hearing your experiences so that you may share them with us and we all grow together. So we're going to start today with kind of reflecting on last year, 2024. So, ladies, what do you think?
So, not really, well, what you mean? Like, was it good? Was it bad?
What was good? So I know part of the year was good. It had to have been. I certainly hope it was.
Okay, well, we don't like to sit in the past, so we're gonna talk about this briefly.
Yes.
I'm only gonna say that I was excited to move from Colorado back to Atlanta, and that was like a whole new journey for me. The beginning of a new journey that I'm still on, which is going to continue into 2025. So if I would say what was the biggest highlight, that was it. That was it.
So Dr. Fee, biggest highlight for you, 2024.
It's so interesting that we're here. I do feel like it's kind of a full circle moment because when we started, I remember saying, this is a transitional phase for me, and so that transition is well underway. And so again, as Dr. Cat was saying, we're going to focus only on the positive, and it's been very positive. Sometimes challenges present themselves, and depending on how we approach them, it can seem daunting. But certainly, anything that happened in last year that could have been perceived as a challenge has been for my betterment. I'm excited about what's to come. And so, yeah, part of that was getting to work with you guys on this podcast, having my cousin back in town, meeting you, Dr. Bob. Mm-hmm. So it's just been 2024 was a great year. It started out a little shaky. Whoa. But, it definitely ended well. And I'm glad to have you guys as friends and colleagues. And just, to be able to collaborate on something like this with you guys was definitely one of the highlights for me for the year. So
I'm pretty much off that because, like you said, it started off a little shaky, but it got so much better when we all came together. Because I came back to Atlanta. Of course, Dr. Bob came back as well, and then we just rekindled back up what we were doing before I left. Matter of fact, but the thing about it is, it's always good to have. You think about your circle and people that are around you. You want to keep it small, but you also want to keep people around you that understand what you're going through so they can support it. You want to have support. And if you're trying to do something different or even be different, you need people that's going to be around you, that's going to acknowledge it and not keep, reminding you of your past and bring that up. Instead, they're helping you to move forward. So for me, that was a good thing that happened in 2024 because I feel like we were all going through a transition and we're still going through that transition. But we're able to upheld each other throughout the entire thing, and support is so important because you want to isolate yourself for the most part. And sometimes it's very much necessary when you're going through things. And the only people you're supposed to allow to be around you while you're going through your transition are people that are like-minded. And some people have to literally go through it completely alone because they just don't have that. And I think about that because when we had stayed in Colorado, we probably would have had each other, but he was coming back before I was. Like, he was one telling me to come back. So I was going to be in Colorado by myself. And yes, I'm still going to go through what I'm going through, and I'm still going to benefit from it. But I could have been doing it by myself, And I feel like 2024 was divinely by design. You know what I mean? We all came back. We all came together at a time. And then at that point, everything kind of exploded. That's how I felt. I felt to me like everything exploded. But just think that we're now in 2025 together, and what we're still continuing to go through we're getting to the end of it, I would say, because it was, you go through things like you were saying, it gets uncomfortable sometimes, but at the same time, when you can tell somebody about it and they understand it, that's a big deal. You know what I mean? And some people don't have that. And then as you go to God, you go to your spiritual team and all of that, however you do that. But also you want that person to, because we don't do anything alone and we're not meant to be alone. You know what I mean? So it's always good to have. So I would say for me, for us going through, what we're going through, I feel like we're coming to the end of it. In 2025 is going to come to a head. But it's so crucial that we're all doing it together, which brings us back to probably, this is probably going to be a takeoff for our podcast, because now we kind of took a break.
A little hiatus.
Yeah, and then because things are happening, but it's like you get what you focus on, and we are making a conscious decision to literally focus on, make this be one of our focuses for this year. So, yeah, I'll just be piggybacking on what you said. Just clarifying it.
Well, I remember this time last year. And man, we were in the thick of it.
Mm-hmm. Y'all in Colorado.
Oh, yeah, life was horrible.
Yeah, life was thick of it.
Life was crazy.
You know what it was going to look like for 2024. I wasn't excited about it.
Yeah.
Not if it was going to continue. It was going on 23. So y'all was not excited.
Yeah. So, I mean, we were literally in the thick of it. And every day was a new thorn. It was just, man, I hate to say it was horrible, because every day the Lord has made is a beautiful day.
And it's all for the good of you.
Yeah.
I
don't really hate to say it's horrible, but let's just say I got a lot of thick skin from last year's experiences. And the difference between now and January of 2024 is like night and day. I'm where I need to be. I know that because I feel it in my spirit. My body tells me I'm good. I feel healthy. I'm happy. No worries. I'm looking forward to tomorrow again. There was a time last year when, man, I just dreaded getting up in the morning, going to work, knowing, and really I didn't even have to go to work because stupidity came to me over the phone, email. It just never stopped. And every day it just got a little more wild every day. So I was like, oh man. So I literally just got on autopilot and tried to turn myself off to the world. But when you do that, you miss so many things that God has.
Yes.
So it was just a miserable feeling, and I didn't want to feel that way anymore. So when I made up in my mind, to remove myself from the environment that I was in, and put myself where I wanted to be.
And the thing is, it didn't change physically. It was a mindset.
It was a mindset.
Went into January, because I actually moved in January, where I was, January 2024, I moved. But when I went back into work, it was totally different for me. So when I tell you I was done and I didn't care, and I realized that I need to quit focusing on those things, and that's when my life was the way it was. Because I thought, oh, do your job. Do your job. And by doing my job, I had to interact with these people that were, negative. But they served their purpose in my life because they taught me the lesson that I get what I focus on. So the more I had to focus, like I decided that I needed to focus on them to get my job done, they made my life worse and worse, which was me making my life worse and worse. But as soon as I decided to ignore them and move on, I didn't reap any repercussions from that. I literally was able to ignore, the triggers that I developed from these people, just ignore them. And it got better. And so when I started, once I realized that I was consistent in my reactions to these people, they left me alone. So it was really about me. It was not about them. It was about me. And so the torture I felt like I was in December, I felt like I put myself there, which was fine because I had to learn that lesson. And so once I learned it, I was released from the situation and I was able to have a new beginning, because for me, I really don't do New Year's. I do spring as my new. We'll get into that later, but I do spring as my new. And spring of that was done. I have no longer worked there. I was on my way back here. Like, it was a whole thing. And my last day was March 7th, right before the spring. When the spring hit, so I was able to change my life dramatically in those first months. And for me, I feel like that's a pattern, which is why I was saying, these first months are going to be amazing, because by March, when the spring comes, we're going to be totally different people in totally different situations.
Now, in 2024, we also learned that life is short. Now, I know that's something that we know and we hear it all the time, but when you experience something in your life that reminds you that life is short, it also reminds you to enjoy what you have. So if you find yourself in a negative environment, if you find yourself miserable every day, take the time to think about what would make you happy and then start to make those changes so that you can have happiness in your life. We're not designed to be miserable every day.
No.
We're not designed to be sad all the time. For all of our battles are already won. So we should be jovial all the time. Enjoy what you have. There's always a positivity or a positive lining. We may refer to it as a silver lining in every situation that you're in. And if you don't like the perspective that you're on in that situation, change it. You have the power. So if I can say a lesson learned for me is don't waste time. Just enjoy life.
Right.
And if you're in a situation that you don't enjoy, change your perspective. You can do it.
Absolutely. I completely agree, and that's a big lesson. I'm glad the conversation's kind of going in this direction because, Dr. Kat, you were saying we could speak about the pod and then kind of like our personal journeys and things like that, and so it was a challenging year at different points for different reasons.
Right.
But the lessons that came through it were the point.
Yes.
And so part of that is, as Dr. Bob was saying, life is meant to be enjoyed. Life is a gift. And when I decide, which is Dr. Kat's big word, once you decide, things change. And so that is a lesson that I'm learning and applying daily. I say how my day goes. I say how my life goes because I'm walking it out. That the path is the path. You can walk it with frown on your face, with your head down or whatever, hung low, or you can walk it with the faith and the knowledge and the knowing that everything is working for your good. Everything is taking you to where you're supposed to be. So in all things be thankful, in all things give thanks, and that is the lesson that I'm applying daily.
Amen.
So that's it, and just that little shift in mindset changes everything. And so, is everything perfect now? No.
Today was a day for me, and not to sorry,
Go ahead.
but I was mad about these ants I've been dealing with, and I just said, if you're going to say that you create your reality, you got to take responsibility for the good and the bad.
Absolutely.
So I've been having this issue with these ants, right? And I've been focusing on them. When I think about them, it makes me feel negative, right? So I have to figure out how to spin that, and I'm still in the process of that. But I remember I was so mad today, and I meditated and everything was on a good note, and then I saw a little ant, and it just threw everything out. And I just said, Spirit, I need your help. Like, I need your help now. Like, I don't know what you're going to do, but I need peace now. And so immediately I heard, peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you, not as the world give it. So I started saying that and felt better, and so even though I've been having this long stream of good days, then all of a sudden the ants took me over the edge. Are you for it? But they did. They took me over the edge. And I thought, well, if I can't get my mind together, then you can always call on, God, source, or whatever you call. And I called on and it immediately shifted. So I understood and it's funny we're talking about 2024. That's a lesson I had to learn in 2024. Like, changing your mindset. And so I created this whole, continuation of these ants, doing what they're doing. So I can also create a situation where they're not there. So it's all like in your mind. But you have to understand that you're responsible for the good in your life and the bad. Right. And so that's another thing that I learned in 2024. I created all of it. So I always think to myself now, instead of, I just think, what did I do? Okay, let me figure this out so I can do it differently. Absolutely. And then I address the situation and I move on instead of lingering in it. And I know that in the beginning of 2024, when I was learning to let everything go, I was doing a lot of lingering, and it's like, okay, now let me spray them and keep it moving. But the sitting down and it's one gonna be over there. I go in the room looking for one. I decided to focus on that. You know what I mean? And so it's like that mind shift. And it's not that I'm never gonna do that again, but I see now that it's a smaller amount of time that I spend on it instead of days and weeks and So you do what you can do, and then you move on and get back to that positive attitude that he's talking about, like that mindset. And, because all we got is now. So be happy now.
Yeah.
And spray the ant and then be happy again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, it's that. It's not like spray the ant, sit down, dwell on it, look up how to kill them. You spray the ant and move on.
Yeah.
And then I feel like in the energy of that, it will work itself out. I don't have to do everything. I just decide that it's going to be different, and then it'll play itself out. And so that's what I learned last year. I feel like I carried that over.
Yeah.
Well, some of you may think, wow, just some ants take you over the edge. But we have to remember the battles that we face are not carnal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the ants were just a representation of the negativity that could be there. And for a minute, she fell for that.
You know what? I'm sorry to interrupt you. But you know what it really was? Thank you for saying that, because that's what it was. It was me thinking I had it in control. Like I was in control.
Mm-hmm.
And then to discover that I wasn't. It was really a reflection of my life. Because I told you I have all these days where I just have it together. Like I'm bouncing out the bed, like, writing down what I'm grateful for, the 10 things. I meditate before I get out the bed. Before I start my day, I do both of those things. When I go to bed now, listen to affirmations as I sleep all through the night, to get to your subconscious mind. Doing all that, been doing great. And then all of a sudden I'm spraying some ants and I lost, and I'm like, because it was always something there in the undertone. You know what I mean? That I kind of like just ignored, but that's not fixing it. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like those ants, when I felt, it's so funny to keep saying ants, but these ants, when I was spraying them, I lost it. I was just like, what is this? I've done this and that. And I thought, girl, that ain't the ants, girl. It's you, so, but I was grateful in that moment as well, because that lets me know what I haven't dealt with. I need to know what I haven't dealt with so I can deal with it and move on from it. You know what I mean? And so, because we were talking about this before, Dr. Fee, how we just ignore it and move on. We don't heal it, and we don't deal with it, and it comes back up later. So even though this has been feels like a tumultuous time, because I feel like God is showing me all the things I haven't dealt with, and then once I come for one, I'm like, yeah, that's it. No, that ain't it. Here's the next one. So it feels like a ripple effect, and I've been doing this like for months now. It kind of makes you weary sometimes, but I'm so grateful that I'm going through it, because I'm not trying to do this the rest of my life. I'm not trying to do this again. And if this is what it takes for me to get what I want, I have to go through it. You understand what I'm saying? So those days I have those, like today, the moment that I had, I'm not sitting in it like I used to sit in it. I was like, do what you're going to do. Do the tools that you know. I would start breathing. I did my 4-4-4 breathing. And then when I did my breathing, that's when I heard Spirit like, ask for help. Okay, well, Spirit, I need help. And then I heard the peace, and then I was good. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
2024 had its ants for all of us.
Right? You think you got control of something, and you really don't. And then that little bitty, clue that you did not. And I thought, and then every now and then I see that one, and I'm like, oh,
yeah, that is certainly.
I done sealed everything, but here you are. Right.
Yeah.
It's still creeping up. It's still that. And I think my lesson is, girl, ignore the ants. Then they'll stop coming.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
because I've done everything I can do. There's nothing else for me to do. What they say.
I want to take
nothing.
you deeper, though.
When you've done everything.
Just saying. I want to take you deeper, and not just ignore them. Mm-hmm. Know that they are just a tool used by the enemy to steal your joy.
It is.
And you have already been given joy.
Mm-hmm.
You are already victorious over the enemy. Right. So every time the ants come forward, don't ignore them. Laugh at them, because that is a tool that the enemy uses to try to take your joy, to steal your joy.
What I thought to myself was, girl, the laugh that was gonna come out was gonna be hysterical, and I was like, that's not good. I heard myself laughing, but it was hysterical. It was unhinged in my head. I didn't do it out loud, and I thought, suppress that, man.
Oh, you like that?
The thing about it is, I'm happy you said that, because I had a breakthrough in my meditation. Oh, this is so good. I'm so let me say this. I'm sorry, but I was in my bubble bath, because I bubble bath every day. So I was in my bubble bath on yesterday, and I said, Spirit, if there's something I'm not doing right in my meditation, because I've come far in my meditation, but then I always see people that do more. Like, I'm not trying to ask or project just yet, but I see people doing way more, and I'm like, I feel like there must be a blockage there that I'm not progressing even more, right? And I was like, anything I'm deceived of, let me know, which I pray all the time. But I was like, is there anything in my meditation that I could add or delete to do better, right? Last night, I'm in the bed. Before I go to bed, I watch a little TV, and I'm the kind of person that looking up like ancient aliens and Anunnaki and all that. Like that's what I look up before I go to bed, because I'm just curious about it. And I saw different videos, come across your feed on YouTube, and one came up, and it was about. Have you ever heard about what they're called, like the tanks? Anyway, I didn't get to all that, but anyway, so I found a new way of meditation, like a new way to look at meditation. And this particular meditation takes you even deeper, right? And it's stuff that the FBI used, the CIA, and all of that, right? Because they've studied the mind, and we're only privy to so much of it, but this is something that they actually use. And I was like, well, let me see. And so that came up, and the person put a link of how to get the tapes. And I thought, and for me, my whole thing is to go deeper into my meditation, because I feel like there's so many things or answers that I could get if I could go further. So that's to say, they came across my feed. I clicked on it, and I knew in that moment, I was like, that's my answer. It's like, this is how you go to the next level. But I asked for that. Mm-hmm. So that was like, oh my God, it was like a moment of gratitude to say I asked and it was answered. Right. This has been happening to me a lot lately. You know how you ask, you pray for something and they say pray and then move on. Most people don't. They pray it over and over again. Right. But for me, lately, with the more meditating I've been doing, if I ask for an answer, I get it within the day. I used to didn't do that. That's how I know I progressed. It would take me a week, sometimes 3 weeks, sometimes a month to get an answer. Now I'm getting my answer within the day. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. That's an improvement. So, on one end you feel like you're failing, but on the other end you're doing really well with that.
So. Can I add to that, Dr. Cat? Mm-hmm. I feel like I don't want the point to be missed because, we came in when you were at the height of frustration with these ants.
Oh yeah, I was vacuuming.
But I don't want the audience to miss the part of you telling us that your frustration led you to the source.
Oh yeah, it did.
So I think you should share that little, like you went and you looked and you saw.
My gosh. My gosh. I'm sorry, what happened? The source of because
you talked about the frustration of it, this recurring problem, and then all of a sudden.
Well, this is the thing. Since I moved in here, I had little ants here and there because it's a brand new apartment complex, right? Luxury. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. And I feel like they put it together with like what I would say glue and scotch tape. Like they just threw these things up. So at the base of your board in the floor, there were a lot of little gaps that they were supposed to fill in with that, what they call hump pump. Mm-hmm. They did not. Now, so ants coming from outside, meaning the perimeters of the building, from the outside, from the windows, and from the hallway, were coming in under there. And they just came in, they were just looking for food and stuff. I don't have a lot of food out for the most part, except for my dog food or my cat food. I don't have a lot of food out, but they're always looking. If they find one thing, they all just come in. So I have traps everywhere. So say all that to say, I thought I had a hand on it. I did not. Finally, I called and was like, hey, bring some exterminators in. They said, okay, we will, but we're going to send maintenance first, and they're going to do the caulking. Now, automatically knew they needed the caulk. I forgot to say that. Answer my question for me. So other people have had this issue, right? So they knew exactly what to do. He came in, he caulked everything for the most part, but they're come to find out under the kitchen cabinet, there's the pantry, there's a hole, like right up under there. That nobody would even know to look for. So after all the ants were gone for like 2 to 3 days, I thought you'd see one every now and then because he said you were going to see an ant here and there because we sealed them in, the ones that are in here. But I came in, that morning, it was this afternoon, in the evening yesterday. I hadn't eaten anything. I was ready to eat, And so I was like, what should I eat? And I heard my spirit say, eat some cereal. Now, mind you, I hadn't eaten all day. And I was like, I don't know if I should start with sugar because my cereal has a bunch of sugar in it. So I was like, should I start with that? And then I said, well, no, I'm not going to do that. My spirit said again, eat some sugar. So I said, okay, eat some sugar. I'm going to eat the cereal. I went to that cabinet, the ants going all the way up the wall because they came from under that hole. Now, mind you, I filled every way for them to get in, but they still found a way. They found it through that hole. So they came up, and I started spraying it, and I lost it at that point because I'm like, what is it? Oh, my cabinets. I make sure everything in my cabinet is sealed and everything. It was a honey bun that I didn't even know had a hole in it. And so they all got in there. From there, they called their friends, and then they all came up. And I was like, what? So then I'm spraying and everything. I put cinnamon down there because if you didn't know, it's a thing. You put cinnamon down to stop it from coming. But that's what it was. Mm-hmm. And so even at that point, but this is a thing too, not the thing. my spirit told me to look there. And I was like, so what's that about? But anyway, it told me to look there because it was like, you think they're gone and they're not. And I really did think they were gone and they were not. So that's still one more hole I need to seal. But I was still grateful because it still tells me that's that one more thing I need to do. And so again, like, I'm always going to go to source.
Yeah.
But I didn't do that in the past. But I do every single time. And so another thing with the meditating is I'm hearing more than I heard before too. So that's really important to me too. But yeah, so then I end up seeing the hole. And I put the cinnamon, and I went in and cleaned out the cabinet, stuff like that. And so, yeah, I think that's what you meant. Right? So,
the resolution and also just the bigger picture panning out, which is things can come along and frustrate us. But when we are praying about things, just in general, when we're seeking the Lord,
I think it's a test.
Some things don't come with like, okay, right away that I'm going to get the answer. Some stuff is like you were on kind of like a journey to solving that issue.
And I don't even know that's going to be the last thing when they come past it. But I know the next, if I see them again, I'm not going to react the same way because I'm putting it more in perspective.
Yes, is that. So I just like the duality of these lessons we're getting a lot.
But I also want to say this. I'm happy you said that because what I've noticed lately, when I had that breakthrough in my meditation, because you go to the quantum field and all stuff like that. I ain't getting into all that, but I go to my quantum field, do my little quantum leaping. And I've gotten so much better at that to where I've solidified what I want to manifest, right? And I feel like I'm on the verge of it. And it's funny because every time I've done this in my life, this is not my first time doing it. I've been doing this since high school. Not knowing what I was doing, but now I know what I was doing. But anyway, right before you get what you want to get, all hell breaks loose. And the bottom falls out. And the test is, because it's so close, this is where you're supposed to be defeated, you know what I mean? And everything falling out. And if you can get past that, all the work that you did is going to get you to manifest what you need to manifest. But you got to get through that little piece right there. Because you fall apart and you can just go all the way backwards, right?
Yeah.
And so the reason why I went crazy on the them doggone ants is because I got 3 other things that happened before that all in the same day. Oh, if I could tell y'all, oh my God. I'm going to go ahead and share this because it pisses me off. I have this company that I make a payment to, right? And on their website, they only let you use your bank account. You can't use your debit. You can't use another credit card, or you can't use another form of payment, to pay them. You can, but they don't want you to. So they have my bank account on lock. That pissed me off because I'm like, and for me, it's a principle of thing. I should be able to pay you the way I want to pay it, right? So I go in and do a stop payment. So they, and this is, I haven't told y'all this, so y'all about to get the tea on this. So I did start payment, and then all of a sudden, 3 days later, it still goes through. And I'm like, all right, bank, you said you were going to stop. But they was like, well, yeah, we're going to do our best, but they use another number, this and that, to get it. That's fine. So they're just trying to say they use another name so they couldn't catch it. That's fine. You know what I'm going to do? So I talked to the lady. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to close this account and just transfer my money to another account. That way you don't have access because they don't have a number, right? She was like, that's what you should do. And I said, so everything will shut down. Yeah, you don't have access. They don't have access. This is last Friday. Not this Friday, but the last Friday before that. So they closed that account, gave me a new account number, moved everything over instantaneous. Closed out my last debit card, sent me another one. It's supposed to be in the mail today. So they sent me another one to go with that account. So I'm like, I think everything's good. Is it? No, it's not. Because it's a spirit again, because I don't take my bank account on a regular basis. Like, I ain't got time for that because I feel like I know money is in there, but if I overcheck it, you got that energy of lack, right? So I don't do that. But I was going in there to get my new account number so I can give it to the people that I wanted to have it, right? Went in there, and guess what? They took it again. What? How did you get my new account number? So, okay. I was like, okay, calm down. I called my bank and was like, what is going on? And then the lady, she didn't really know. So I said, I need to see somebody else right now. So she sent me over to my claim where I put the claim in, right? And so I'm talking to them, and the man's very calm, good, because he needed to be. He knew that. He knew he needs to be being on 10 because why is this happening? Because tell me the logic in me having a whole other account number. And they specifically said to me, you have to call your people that you have your ACH set up with so they can have this new number because there's no way, right? He said, ma'am, you talk to somebody who's basically a regular bank person. He said, yes, they were able to do it. He said, I'm going to tell you, they didn't do what you wanted them to do. What they did was they just did he called it a soft close. He said, so they closed it.
But whoever had the previous account number,
which defeated the whole purpose. But I'm gonna tell you something, because I'm thorough on what I asked for. I specifically answered that. I said, "Will it be?" She said, "No, they're gonna have." So I made sure I asked this question, and I know the conversation was recorded. That's why I said to him, "You need to go listen to the conversation." So he said, "What you need to do is go in and literally say to them, I need a hard close." Hard close this account, give me a whole nother account, and then they'll know that that's a hard close.
Now, how about that? Give me my money.
Yeah,
I'm there now. That's where I am now, because I'm just like, but how do you like this bank? But I may have to go ahead and go. But see, I have to say, that's what happened. So I was mad because here I am trying to be proactive and do what I need to do, and that fell through. Then I laughed. That's when I laughed. Okay, spirit. Okay. So I was like, don't panic, because in the past, oh my God, I was mad in that moment, but I actually let it go. And I moved on. And then something else happened. So it's like, so I get this message, and I'm not going to get into that, but I got this message, and I'm like, who you talking to? So, but the message could just like really flip things on their head right now in my life. Can really interrupt my life right now. Not end it, not do anything to you, but really interrupt my peace. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought, no worries, we're not going to even respond to that. We're just going to keep it moving. Mm-hmm. So we kept it moving. And then I get ready to get something to eat and answer up the wall. I was like, no. No, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, and so I know that I must be close to what I'm asking for. Because I had so many days of doing so well, I feel like now I'm about to get closer to it. And it was like, no, we're going to do this. Because this is the thing. When it comes to something like somebody, like having my account number and stuff on lock, I don't like that. That's something that would get to me. So that's, may not be a big deal to somebody else, but it will be to me. Mm-hmm. When I'm thinking I'm controlling my environment, and I'm doing everything that I know to do, and then here the ants go, that is insane that they keep infiltrating. You know what I'm saying? And then for someone that I blocked, contacted me, that threw me off. Yeah. You know what I mean? So then I'm like, oh, no big deal. Next thing, oh, no big deal. Third thing, oh my God. And that's how I lost it.
Yeah, that was the feather that just...
It did. And so when I went to bed that night, even though I listened to my affirmations at night, I did pretty well. I woke up that next morning, I still felt a little bothered. Mm-hmm. I meditated and like, oh, okay. I felt a little better. But then right before y'all came, I saw a little straight ant, and I saw, and you know what I mean? Then it kind of took me back, and that's when I prayed, and I was like, you know what? Come on. The Spirit was like, the peace and this and that, So when I was vacuuming, I was still saying this in my head. So when they walked in on me, like in the middle of trying to get through it, and they looking at me like, are you okay? Yeah, I am now. But I was literally doing what I needed to do when y'all came in. Yeah. That's why I said, give me a moment. When they said they got here. But yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I think, if I had to leave you with something for the year 2024, it is listen to the Spirit. You've already won over all of those negative things that are happening in your life.
Right.
So don't let them steal your joy for long. Remember that you are victorious in all things. And also, remember, in fact, celebrate the fact that 2024 is over. It is now 2025, and you are still here. You're still standing. And if you're standing, you have an opportunity to enjoy the day that the Lord has made. Yes. And I am always going to enjoy this day. I tell you, when people ask me, no matter what I'm going through, how are you, Dr. Bob? And I respond with, excellent always. And that's who I am. That's what I live by. And I have to remind myself of that every now and then. But I am excellent always because I am already victorious. So now as we lay down 2024 and we embrace 2025, we are excited about what this year could mean for us collectively and for us individually. And that's what we want to share. Just a little snippet of what we are excited for the year 2025. Now, we know oftentimes people make what they call resolutions in January around the 1st, and they want to do certain things. Others may make goals on what they want to accomplish for the year of 2025. And we kind of make commitments to ourselves about what we want to do in this new year and what we want to see in our lives for this new year. So we want to share a little bit of our commitment for the upcoming year. So, ladies, what do you think? What would you like to share about your plans for 2025?
I think overall, if I just had to just kind of put it in a nice little package with a bow on it, just to be kinder to myself. Be kinder to myself in terms of, physically, emotionally, forgiving myself, sort of letting go. Dr. Bob shared Dr. Kat and I did vision boards together, where mine was mostly I am affirmation.
Yeah, it was like a focus board, yes, more so than vision. Like what our focus is going to be.
And so I shared some of my notes from that with Dr. Bob today, and so he saw just a lot of just me professing just the best things about myself and just affirming God's love for me, my faith, trust, that I'm safe, that all the things, And so just being conscious of myself and kind of laying aside these weights that we kind of pick up along the way in our lives, and maybe either in childhood or in, we go through things in adulthood, we pick up these things and we don't lay them aside or, cast our cares like we need to. So being conscious of myself in that way and reaffirming with myself daily, my love for myself and God's love for me, and that, and I feel like for me, that is the starting point for me. Having this best life, getting there is just the knowing, getting that knowing deep down in my consciousness and my spirit that everything is good. And when everything is always going my way. It's always going my way. And so, and I feel like I've been on this path, this journey for a long time now, or a good while now, but my level of awareness has grown even more with regard to that. And so I'm excited about walking that out this year and the outcomes from that.
Excellent. Dr. Kat, what about you? What can you share? What are you looking forward to for the year 2020?
I'm going to manifest what I have to manifest. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to do it within the first 3 months, if not the next 30 days. So my focus is a little continuation from the end of last year. I want to only focus on what I want. Not what I don't want, which is why I felt like those 3 things happened, because I was like, I'm trying to focus on them. So another thing, you think you have something taken care of, and then something else comes up, to kind of throw a monkey wrench, to kind of throw you off your game. So my whole point is to bounce back quicker and to focus on what I want. So that's definitely something I want to continue to do. I also want to make sure I am continuing to let go of things that no longer serve me. And that could be people, that could be situations, that could be thought processes, that could be whatever. So I don't know if you know about coming here. Because I woke up and I was like, done with that, because when I was in Colorado, my hair started to fall out. And I have pretty thick hair. My hair was falling out right around that December time.
Same.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and it went all the way until May. Falling out. Uh-huh. Yeah, it was a lot. And so
mine started like October.
Yeah. Mine started like November, but it went on, yeah. And so it's funny because anyway, so yeah, my hair was falling out. So when May came and I moved here, it stopped falling out. So from May to December is 8 months. So I had 8 months of growth, in my hair, not falling out, retention and everything. But as my hair came down, the hair that remained, so I had hair that literally just came out, like hair that came out, not breaking, just came out my head. Mm-hmm. That hair grew back in my scalp, so that my whole head was thick, but I still had the strands that remained, so that my hair was a little thinner. You know what I mean? How you can like do a 2-strand twist, natural people, it comes down and stick, and then all of a sudden you get to the bottom, it gets a little thin. So that's where you need to cut it, right? So what I did, I said, it's 8 months. I know that I usually do half an inch a month. So I knew I had a minimum of 4 inches, even though I actually had more than that. Because sometimes my hair does an inch a month. It depends. So I knew I had about a good 6 inches. So I said, I'm going to cut off all that. That no longer served me. Like, cut that off. Like, what are you doing? Because what I didn't want to do is have this negativity in my mind. Because again, you get your focus on. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't want to try and override it with my thoughts and affirmations and say, ooh, I love my hair, when I did not. And so when I look into the mirror, it contradicted it. You know what I mean? So it was this constant struggle. So I said, well, cut it out. Like, your hair grows fast. Because my hair grows fast. My hair grows fast. So I was like, cut it off. Because next year, it's going to be, So I started to cut. When I tell you, I felt so good. It felt so good to cut it off. And I mean, I started a little bit. It ain't my last cut, but I got it to where I wanted it. You know what I mean? I cut it, and so even though it's short, it still has length. Because my hair just does that; it shrinks 75%. But I have to cut it to get it where I want it to be. But I know this right here is what I grew, and so the rest of it I just let go of. So that was my whole point of letting that go, because I wasn't going to cut my hair for 10 years. But then my spirit reminded me that doesn't make sense if this is not serving you.
Mm-hmm.
So cut it off if you need to cut it off. Because that's why I didn't cut it off. Because remember, I don't know if I told Dr. Fee that, I heard my spirit say, cover your head for 30 days. And I did. And then when I did, that's when I came to revelation, you don't need this anymore. You know what I mean? But trying to nourish it out, like he was like, take it out your mind until you can look at it clearly. And that's what happened. When I took the head wrap off, finally I woke up and I was like, oh, okay. And it was a new year, and I cut it off. So cutting off things that no longer serve me. So that's another thing, and my last thing is, again, it's with my meditation. I want to take it to the next level because I need to hear more. I need to hear more often. I need to hear in the moment. So I can see that the time between when I ask a question and when I get the answer is coming closer together, because I can quiet my mind and clear my mind more, because now I'm fighting against the negativity and winning, So it's not like I don't have negative moments, but I don't spend so much time in them to where my mind can clear. And then the spirit's like, okay, so now I think she can hear me. Instead of me taking days and weeks before it can hear me. And then all of a sudden I finally get a little quiet when I'm not really thinking about anything. Then my answer comes. And I'm like, dang, that's 3 weeks ago. Now I can get it within the day. So my goal, another goal, focus that I have, is to make sure that I'm being more mindful, meditating more, quieting my mind, so I can literally hear from spirit more. So focus on what I want, hear from spirit, and continue to let go of those things that no longer serve me, because those are the things that are going to hold me down. And those are the things, when you think that you have everything in control, or when you're managing things properly, those are things that are going to come up, sneak in, and be like, no, you don't. I'm sick of these ahas. So once I realize they don't serve me, stop trying to make it work and let it go. And that's what I mean. It could be people, it could be hair, it could be thoughts, it could be processes, it could be things that you own. Let them go. Or even surrender in a way, not even letting them go like physically, because you can, but surrendering in a way where it don't matter if it's here or not. And I always notice that when I surrender, which is what 2025 is for me as well, when I surrender, it all works itself out. You know what I mean? And in some situations you surrender, and then that's when you get what you want. And in some situations when you surrender, then it releases a weight because you don't care anymore. Right. I'll take either one. Yeah. I'll take either one. And since I have decided, as I say, and it's on my board as well, since I have decided this is it. I don't care if I have a bad day. Today wasn't the greatest. It's better now. But it ain't going to make me quit, because that's not who I am. I have decided. So this is what we're going to do. Because we're not going to do this again. And I was cutting out the Bible the other day. I can't do this again. You know what I mean? This is a journey that I'm on. It may be uncomfortable, and I have great times as well. But whatever it is, we're going to see it to the end, because I'm not going to do this again. Mm-hmm. I'm going to learn this in my life right now, figure out how to take control and be the operant power in my life, and take control of that and keep it moving. Because, life is always going to be things, you know what I mean? But if I could spend less time dwelling on those things and more time on being grateful for them now, that's what I need to do, because I didn't do that in the past. And I feel like every time you got to have this big, upheaval in your life, is because you did not get that lesson. I don't like doing things twice. Anybody know me ever like, no do-overs. I don't want to do things twice. So whatever this journey takes me to, that's what I'm going to do. And I can tell you right now, it's already done. I'm going to be victorious. Yeah. Like, I get what I want. Yeah. If you know what I mean? If you know, you know. I get what I want, and I see things through. And I always feel like my calling in life is to be the example. So I have to go through these things in order to teach about these things. And that's been my entire life. And I'm okay with that. So people will be like, oh, you get everything that you want. I'll be like, but you don't know what it took for me to get there. You only see me with it. Yeah. You don't see what I had to give up, what I had to go through, what I had to learn. And sometimes I learn easily, sometimes I learn very hard. And I was like, why do I have this life? And I know that my calling is, you have to go through this in order to teach it, because I am the teacher.
Mm. So, well, first let me just remind us all that we are already victorious.
Yeah, it's done, but you have to bring it to the. You have to live in that. That's what I was saying.
You have to live in that. We have to learn to live in that. Yes. Yes. Now, because I don't know where you are in your journey. I don't know, but some of us feel like we're defeated all the time, and they live in that, and then that creates a breeding ground for depression and stuff like that. I can't be there.
Right. I
Some of us live in that fighting moment where they feel like they can fight for their victory and they're going to. And I love it. That's a great place to be. It's better than feeling defeated.
But you can't stay there either.
You can't stay there either because this battle is not yours.
It's not.
It's not yours. You retire from that.
Right.
Just the fight alone will soon steal your joy away.
That's why I said I need some help.
Yeah,
I need some help.
like, you
I
have to
can't do
cross
this.
over. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world.
Absolutely.
So you focus on that already. If he that is within you is the greater power, you are already victorious. That power that is within you, that is within me, that is within all of us, is already fought that battle for you, has already given you the victory. All you have to do is claim it.
That's why I say go inward.
Yeah.
Because in you, God is in you. Go inward. Don't looking outside trying to go inward.
And that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, it is.
But I love it, though. I love it. When Jesus left this world, he said, I will leave for you a comforter. And that comforter is within you. It's within
he basically
you.
came to show us that this is what you're capable of. I'm showing you what you're capable of. So you're like, oh, Jesus walked on water, trying, water to wine. You can do that too.
You can do that too. And greater things.
Right.
And greater things.
And so that's what he came here to let us know, I am the example. You can do all of these things. And so if you focus on what he said, what the promises are, right? And so, yeah.
Look, the word of God will not return to him void.
Nope.
Right.
So if he has adopted me into the family, I am a sibling with Christ.
Yeah,
I am the son of the Most High God. Then there are no limits.
And it's not really a religious thing either. So it's not like, you Christians and that, you believe the word, the Bible, this and that. If you actually pray, and mind you, when you're praying to God and you're praying to yourself, because it's all like one. We're all one, if you know what I'm saying. But see, I like to say, I ain't gonna get that deep in there. But if you pray to whoever you say is God, source, or creator, or whatever, that and have your own relationship, he, she, it, whatever will clarify for you what's right and what's not. So you don't have to go by a specific word, but if a word resonates with you, then that word is true for you. You get what I'm saying? So like if you can quote the Bible, you can quote the Quran, quote whatever you want, but you know what resonates with you. And if it has power and energy when you say it, then that's what you use. Because your truth is your truth and your belief is your belief. So even though we're quoting the Bible and things like that, because of course I don't believe that everything in the Bible is true, specifically because of interpretation, but a lot of it is. Because if you find that all these doctrines are saying the same thing, even in a different way, few different details, but the overall things are all the same. So this is things that have actually happened, right? Well, this is what I'm saying for me. So I like to say, call on your creator, whoever you pray to, whoever you communicate with, to make sure that things are clarified for you. But when you know it to be true, those are the things that are your promises. And so for me, knowing that I was created in his image or in her image or in the image of God, that means you're a cup. So if he is the ocean and you scoop up a cup, you're the water in that cup. Is that water different than the water that you were scooped from? No. So that's all I have to say.
Well,
Just think about that.
even more. Without God, we are lifeless. And he breathed his breath of life in us. It is his breath that has given us our consciousness. It is his breath that has given us this thing we call life. So if our life is him, if he is the branch and we are the limbs from that, man, come on. You are a part of something greater than yourself. You are a part of the Most High God, the Creator himself. And man, that's gotta mean something for you in your life. It does in mine. So this year, as we have learned many times over, the things we focus on in life are the things we manifest in our lives. So I want to make sure that in the year of 2025, the things that I focus on, the things that I give my efforts towards are the things that God really wants me to have.
Right.
Because I don't want to just go out there willy nilly and just getting stuff that's only going to cause me grief in the long run.
Or asking for the less than when you could have way more.
Way more.
Yeah, so we that we we're just not. I mean, you know what you want, but not getting too specific because he could have something way better, right? You know, and I'm like, so you can be like, oh, I want the Honda. He's like, but I'm gonna give you the Lexus. Right. But I give you the Honda that you want. Right. But I couldn't give you the Lexus. So it's just like instead of saying, oh, I want Honda, just say, I want the car that's right for me. I want the house that's right for me. I want the life that's right for me. The career that's right for me. If you want a career. Or I want to do the service that's right for me. So you tell me what that is because I already know it's going to be for me. Yeah. You know, it's not like, oh, I'm going to be rebellious. God tell me to do this, but I don't want to do it. If he's saying that this is what your purpose is or this is what you should be doing, he already knows you. Right. So how he's going to get it wrong? He's not going to get it wrong. Right. So if he's not going to get it wrong, then you surrender to it so they can be what's best for you. So I've already been talking about, letting go what it looks like. And anybody knows me, I've been saying this for years. But you do have to do that. Mm-hmm. It's not that you don't want your desire, but don't get too specific because I've gotten a lot of things that I've asked for the specifics that I've asked for and absolutely hated them when I got them. Instead of saying, I want this type of job, I should have been like, I want what I was saying for. I want a job that I love with people that I love and get paid well to do it. I've been saying that for the longest, right? But now I don't care. I care less about a job, so I had to take that part. I can get real literal, and it's like I get what I asked for. So for me, I want to just walk in love, and everything I experience feel like love. Mm-hmm. And with that, all the abundance and anything I need will come to me. You know what I mean? I don't want to specifically look at the abundance. I'm looking at the love because love will bring everything to me. Yeah. So I have to really, so God can do whatever he wants to do. Mm-hmm. He can decide how great it's going to be or whatever it's going to be. Right. But I don't want to get too specific with that. Like, what are we here for? What is our whole purpose? In the end, everything is love. Mm-hmm. Let me just concentrate on that. Mm-hmm. But I was going to say, Dr. Bob, since we're talking about 2025, let's talk about Dr. Up. Like, what do we want for Dr. Up for 2025? Have y'all had any thoughts about what we would do differently this year as opposed to what we did last, or what direction or some of the different things you would like to see us do, or what we would grow into, or just the vision that you would have, Dr. Up? And not necessarily 2025, but just moving forward, where we trying to get to. Mm-hmm. And then let me just point this out too. I ain't never seen him in a denim jacket. I was like, 2025, shit, the bottom don't be no more here. And I didn't hear, but like a little more relaxed.
Listen.
I'm looking and I'm like, I gotta say something because I'm really sitting here like, denim jacket, okay.
Well, for those who know me, for years, I've been a corporate kind of guy. For years. And that's what I want. When I left the military in 1993, I told God I want a job. Ooh, Lord, I didn't know what else I said. Right. I told God I want a job where I can use my brain and not my back. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to dress up and wear a suit and tie every day. Mm-hmm. And in 1997, I started wearing a suit and tie every day to work. And the one thing that kind of permeated my wardrobe in 1993, I no longer had in 1997, and that was denim. I didn't wear jeans. I didn't wear denim jackets. I didn't wear denim hats, denim nothing. I had no denim in my wardrobe. Wow. I wore suits to work every day. It was what I felt comfortable in. And when we had spirit days and people wanted to wear jeans, everybody wore jeans, but me, I put some slacks on and a jersey.
I was like, you need to be more relatable.
Look here.
Now, he may have one or twice, but that 10 years, I may have seen him once or twice at work in jeans.
I had to learn.
Do it.
Look, I needed a lot of encouragement to go out and buy my first pair of jeans. I didn't know how to feel. I was a
dress you didn't see.
Man, look here. I was like, oh my goodness. But I was comfortable. Mm-hmm. But fortunately, in 2024, that all came to an end because I learned that God will provide for me, and I don't even have to have a job.
No, hello.
Look here, look,
That's right.
there's this thing called retirement. You better come on.
Listen, he's just so not
Look
not
here.
to say that. So God, whatever God resources are your resources, right? So if you want that to be in a job, you know that's fine. It's okay at work. But if you don't, that's okay too because your job is not the source. God will provide the job. That means it's still His resource, so He's still the source. So if you want it to be in a job, if you want that to be in like something you do on a daily basis that probably earns you money, like a talent that you like or a hobby that you like, that's fine too. It can be given to you. And you let go of what it looks like, but you ask for what you want. Because for the longest, I would talk to people and they'd be like, "Oh, I want this and that job," and I would always ask, "Do you want to work? Do you really want to work? Do you really want to work?" Because I knew I had done that for the longest too. I would have this long list of everything I wanted in a job, a career, and all of that. And then finally, I kept getting those things. They never made me happy because I did not want to work. At least not in that structure capacity.
Right.
It's something I don't want to ever do. I don't want to sit around every day and do nothing, which I do love to do, and I do want to do that on a consistent basis. But that doesn't mean every single day. I do want to get out and do projects and help people and feel fulfilled in that way. I just don't want to clock in and you tell me to set out, I gotta be there, and I gotta ask your permission to take off. Absolutely not. Them days are over. That's what I'm not going to do. Period. But it can look different. So that's why I had to let it go and say, God, because I know God knows me and say, hey, it's not that I'm not willing to work, but I don't want the work to look like that. Now, He knows me. Now, if He came up with the perfect job, the only way He gonna put me in a job because He knows me. It's gonna have to be like, you do whatever you want, have you want. I can come and go as I please. That would be the only way. Like my last job was very much flexible because I was doing what I wanted to do. Because I could set my own schedule and stuff like that. I stayed within the routine of what everybody did, but I could have, did my own thing if I wanted to. But still, I like to say that's still not what I wanted because still they expected to see me at some point, and so I just feel like the structure of what you want, you got to be very specific enough to say, I don't want to work in that way. Not give you a job I can rent. No, man, I don't want to work. So that's what I was about to say when you were asking for that job and everything, and now you was like, oh, what was I thinking? Absolutely not. Because do you want to do that? If some people might want to do, they probably get a high off that, but I absolutely don't want to do that.
Well, be mindful of what you ask for. Because you just might get what you ask for. And it may not be what you really want.
Right.
I mean, it looks good when it's on somebody else. You know how it is that suit that you see on someone else, you just love it and you want to get it for yourself. You go out and get that suit for yourself and it doesn't quite lay right.
It doesn't suit that's right for you.
Yeah, you got to get what is for you. So don't look at the world to determine what you want out of life. You determine what you want based on your truth, from your spirit. What makes you happy from day to day, from moment to moment.
So what do you want?
Well,
Doctor Up.
Here is what I want for Doctor Up. Just in case you haven't realized, I enjoy just being with you ladies. I enjoy.
There, which is why we're here. And this has worked out perfectly. Even time when we come to try and shoot, and we end up not shooting, but we sit around and shoot the breeze.
Yeah.
Because the energy is not right. And we don't want to come on here with the wrong energy because And so when it's not right, we don't force it. But I feel like the whole camaraderie and all that, that's all right,
And I love just spending time with you and sharing our inner thoughts and our feelings with each other first, but also making them available to you. And while we hope millions of you get to know us through these videos, if none of you, absolutely, we hope millions of you come to know us and our truths and just take in what we have to offer. But if only one of you come to know us and listen to us, then that's going to be okay too, because the primary thing for me is to spend my time doing things that I enjoy, and I enjoy sharing my energy with you guys, with you ladies, and just enjoying life and helping each other to live this thing we call life just a little bit better. So I would love that millions get to share our videos. Millions. Because I believe we have something to offer to you. And I want you to soak in some of this stuff that we've learned as we share it with you. And I want you to share that with us. I love learning. I don't always love the process, but I love when I've come to that aha moment and say, oh, wow, yeah, this is that, or this is not that. And I just want to be able to share as much insight that I have individually and collectively, because sometimes we don't know we know something until we share it with others who can fill in the missing pieces. Yeah. So when we share, I learn so much more about myself, and I put things together from my experiences. And I just want to share that with the world and let you guys know that here's the truth for me, here's the truth for Dr. Duff, and we want to share it with you because many of these truths are universal. And if they're true for me, they're probably true for you too. So let's share that. That's what I want for Dr. Duff. Just more opportunity to experience more with you ladies and with you guys. All right.
Yeah. That was great. That's about.
Oh, thank you.
So I've enjoyed working with you guys, sharing with you guys on this journey as well. And to echo your sentiments, Dr. Bob, I want what we share to impact lives. We share the commonality of working in education and, getting degrees in education and that sort of thing. But I think this is much bigger than that. I think for where we are in our life's journeys, individually and now, together, walking this journey together, I think there's so much to share. And so many people are either just misguided or lacking direction or hurting or healing or whatever. And to be a voice of hope and a voice of love and a voice of encouragement, that is my supreme goal in this. And if that would allow us to be in front of millions, then so great. That would be so awesome. In terms of just logistically, I want us to take our show on the road. I want us to be out amongst the people, seeing y'all, touching y'all, laughing with y'all. If you watch any of us for either this episode or others, we love to laugh and have a great time. And so, singing.
There's a song in there.
Yeah. And so I would love us to take our little show on the road and touch people in person. And then whether we're doing it, whatever format, whether we're filming and then sort of dropping that into the pod or just, the whole episode is out amongst the people. I would love us to see us do that. And also just in terms of housekeeping, Dr. Cat does a lot of the getting this going up and running and all that. And so just expanding in terms of marketing and helping her with the marketing of the show and chopping it up into shorts and stuff just to get the word out there. I think we've done some really great episodes, and so those sorts of things, just expanding in those ways, I think is what I foresee for us.
No, same here. I agree with both of y'all. I would love for millions to see it, not just for a monetary thing, but just I know people are going through the same thing we're going through. I know, like for 2024, it felt like a awakening, definitely on the spiritual level.
Yes.
And even if people didn't understand what was going on, just like everything was shaking up, spiritually, so with that, I feel like we can talk about our journey and then y'all share our journeys and then also give us future topics. Also, again, I don't want to put an expectation on what it will be, except for I need it to be fun.
Yeah.
I want to be fun. I think we should experiment, have a little fun with creativity, see how things are, be in different locations, talk about different topics we're familiar with and not familiar with, and just kind of play around and have fun. That's my whole thing. Like, in everything, I'm trying to find more joy, and I don't need to, the things that I find joy and have fun with don't have to have an expectation or an end. You know what I mean? But you can have a focus, and my focus will be to help people because I think we're all about service, and that's what our conversations and things will be about. But the whole nature of it is fun because this, for me, it's a release. You know what I mean? It's an opportunity to be around people that you want to be around, and it's an opportunity to talk and be creative. And those are the things that actually bring me joy because I know I've been asking and meditating on, well, what do you want to do? Because there's no specific job that I want to do, just not. But I know for sure I want to serve people and help people, And I would like to use this as a way of doing it as well. And it helps out with my creativity. And those are the things I do. Anybody, we all know we're creative people. And we like to create, and we like to see things through and have a project that has an end, and then start a new one. You know what I mean? And that it can be from episode to episode to series. We can do a series. We could have themes and things like that. And overall, just have fun. And if we don't want to have structure, just literally shoot the breeze. Because most of the podcasts I listen to, they don't really have a structure. They may talk about things that are going on in the world. They may talk about what's going on in their life. It's just very unstructured. And I actually like that. I don't want to come in and know that every topic is going to be about news or every topic is going to be about education. No, it's not. It might and it might not. But because we're all three different people with three different backgrounds that are similar but not exactly the same. Mm-hmm. And even though we got to this point like where we know each other, we all grew up separately. Mm-hmm. So we've gone through a life path separate from each other to all come to this moment. And so we have so many different perspectives, and I think that's another way to also serve people, to show a different perspective. And even if it's not even to teach you anything per se, you might just say, oh, I can relate. It may be some relatable thing. Mm-hmm. And so basically this would be a great outlet. And so my focus would be for us just to have fun, because when we are having those times where we're just not doing stable, for that day or that moment, this would be a part of the week. That's where our joy is, where our fun is, And I want it to be fun. I don't want it to feel like work, because I'm not going to do that. I tell you right now, if it feels like a burden, I won't want to do it. And I've had times when my mood wasn't the greatest, and but by the time we sit down and do it, it shifts. You know what I mean? That's why I know this is something that's important to me, because it can actually shift my mood. So that means this is a good tool or a good outlet in my life, and so I want to see it grow. But again, above all, have fun. That's what
have fun. Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's well said. I think you can put a period right there. Just have fun. Do what makes you happy. I'm not saying go out and break the law, but do what makes you happy. I'm not advocating for that. But because I'm not putting anything on your books now, but do what makes you happy. Think about that. Really think about that in your purpose in life. The gifts that the Lord has given you. He tells us that our gifts will make way for us. It will make provisions for us. So why not operate within those gifts? Yeah. Why not operate within that? Yeah. And just enjoy life. Enjoy life. Because ultimately, that's what God has given it to you for. Absolutely. Enjoy life. That's why He gave His Son to be crucified. Mm-hmm. Enjoy life. His blood has already been taken so that you can enjoy life. His blood has already been spilled so that you can have the victory. Don't give it up to the ants. Mm-hmm. Don't let the ants steal your joy. That's what we're not doing. That we're not doing. If anything, we're going to live together. Because I'm going to be happy. We're going to live together. Don't let the ants steal your joy. Right. Okay? Yeah, and they did for that moment, though. Because I was like, done. Yeah. But I don't care. Because I'm going to spray them down. Because I'm bigger than them. So I would say, think about what you want this year. Really give it some thought. Don't rush into doing a New Year resolution simply because January 1st came around. And don't fall into the same trap that you've been perhaps falling into years after year after year after year. Yeah. So think about it. Think deeply and think about what your purpose is and what you really want. What makes you happy? And then when you make your goals for the new year, lay that foundation, start walking in those goals, put them on the wall, see them daily, repeat them to yourself, and don't worry about what others may think about your goals. In fact, I wouldn't even tell other people. Yeah, just keep it to yourself. And I do until I need it to be a teachable moment. Like, we all do things that we don't really talk about with each other, not a day to day. You know what I mean? Because some things I don't want to give energy to it, so I'm not going to tell anybody that I did. Now, after that's passed, or if I have something I can say that they can learn from, or they can understand like where I'm coming from, then I'll go ahead and share it. Because like I was like, so for me, I'm just moving forward into a new identity. You know what I mean? And so I was like, well, a new identity. That's why it was so easy for me to like, oh, I'm just gonna change my bank account, because for me,
I'm a different person. So everything can change right now. Right. Everything can go.
You know, my phone number changed.
You know, and I'm like, that's what I said. I think I'm gonna change my number. And I say that because then if you have people that can access me that I want.
Right, exactly.
You know, so I thought about you and then I said, what you changing? And then I'm like, for a long time. You know what I mean? But I give it to who I want to have. Right. You know, so I was like, yeah. So that is another thing that I'm actually going to do before the month is out. You know, change my. I want to move forward, and I'm going to decide what that's going to look like. Yeah. And I do because I'm taking on a new. And mind you, even though you're taking on a new personality in a sense and identity and all that, doesn't mean all of the older me is going to go away. I'm just going to only bring what I want to bring.
And the parts like you said that serve you.
Yeah, that's it. And what I don't want, I'm not going to do. And I don't need nobody in my past to try and remind me of who I am. That we're not doing. Now, if you can come forward with me with who I am now, rock with me now, that's fine. And if not, I'm just gonna because I'm making my own decisions, which I always have. Come on now. But I'm gonna continue to do that, and then in a more probably extreme way. And I don't care what anybody thinks or what their judgment is. This is what I'm doing. Yeah. But I'm telling you that I'm doing this only because I'm giving you the reasons why. If I want things to be different, and I'm saying that things are different, then I just want to show the manifestation of that. Yeah. And so if I have people that I don't want to contact me, then I'm not gonna keep blocking everybody. I'm gonna change my number. Yeah. Now what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? If I'm having issues with something, or now I'm having issues with my bank account, so I'm just gonna close it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you be holding on to something. Yeah. And the epiphany came like, what you doing? You don't have to get a bank account number. You can get another number. Uh-huh. You can cut your hair off. You can get another bank. Yeah. Hello. Right. It's so funny you say this. I literally thought about that, but saying all that to say, yeah. And again, remember I was like 2025, letting go of things that no longer serve me. Why do you have to sit in something when you really don't? You decide, and that's what I'm doing. So a whole lot of stuff about to be gone.
Yeah, it's definitely a process of shedding.
It really is. I feel like I want to throw everything away in my house. You know what I'm saying? So like, but I'm like, no, you're not going to do that. But I do want to pare those things down too, because I think about the mindset, and I was like, okay, if this is what I'm saying that I want, what does this look like? And for me, it's actually having more in abundance in many areas of my life, but having less material things. You know what I mean? So I just want to, I promise you, all the little knickknacks, I just want to get rid of them. Yeah. You know? And so I'm not going to be too extreme because I know I can do that. Yeah. I'm not going to even claim what that is, but I can do that. But I know that I'm going to go, like it's funny because we cleared this table for our vision board and I didn't put the big thing back because when I look over there, like out of my room, I look at it, it felt cluttered. Yeah. I love the things, but I'm not doing it. So I moved it. Yeah. You know, and because I don't know where to put my bread, so I moved it over there. It's covering the bread. Mm-hmm. But still, I like to say, that was my thought process. I'm like, move things, get rid of things. If I want them again, I'll buy them later. Yeah. But a lot of things are going to be, I'm tearing down, you know, and only because it clears my mind to have a new mindset. And to me, a lot of those things is like who I was and not necessarily where I'm going. So I want to be a minimalist, and yeah, shocker, because I love things in a lot of ways. But I want to be a minimalist. I really do. I want to just pare it down to the basics, and I'll be doing that over time. So giving stuff to Goodwill, people, and all that. But I would say by the end of January, things are going to look a lot different in here. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm reminded of a story that I read in the Bible, where this man said, I want to follow you, Jesus. Jesus said, okay. Well, come on. You can walk with me. Let's roll. Right. That brother said, well, I got something I need to do first. Right. I got something I need to do first. And Jesus told that man, look, let the dad take care of the day. Right. Just come on, roll with me. Right. Right. Come on, roll. Okay. So what I'm asking you guys, what I'm offering you, is to come on roll with Dr. Luck, because we're going to some exciting, very exciting places this year in 2025. And if it's God's will, years after this. So come and go with us. Come and go with us now. Let the dead take care of the dead. There you go. And you come and live your life on purpose, in peace, in joy. I promise you, you will not regret it. So ladies, as we prepare to end this particular episode, do you have any parting information, any parting nuggets that you want to leave with the audience?
I'll say this. That's something that came to mind earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt anybody. I think it's important, as I'm learning in real time, to tap into your creativity this year. And really that has to do with, you really sitting with yourself and deciding what you want and what you like to do. And something I learned very recently was that the creative aspects of our brain, when we're engaging those things, it shuts off the anxious parts of our brain. And so I think
that's what I say. Do something that you love.
Yeah, do something you love, where you can create. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular. It doesn't have to be anything. It's not going in a museum. It's not, you know what I mean. Just finding, writing, journaling, your thoughts. Creating with your thoughts. Imagining again. That's something we don't allow ourselves to do a lot of times as adults because we're so bogged down with life and bills and work and whatever else, children, families, and spouses or whatever obligations. Give yourself time to think and to dream and to imagine and to create, and that will shift your mindset tremendously. I'm learning again in real time. So I would challenge you to do that, and this is an opportunity we get to do that as well. So like Dr. Kat said earlier, whatever mood I had before, it completely shifts by the time we get in here and start talking and sharing. But
you're helping people with what you say. And then it's an energy of being around people that you want to be around.
Right, like-minded.
Yeah, that's something. I thought to myself today, I was like, the whole end situation. I was like, we gotta film today. The last 2 times we got together, we didn't film because we ended up talking and kind of like
crying. We couldn't stop.
We had to release ourselves. You know, funny. We had to kind of release some things, so it wasn't appropriate. You know what I mean?
But it was still good that we got together because
today was more of a move forward, right? Thing like, we did all the talking, and it may not be at 100%, but move forward. And it's funny because as you were saying, like these creative things help you out. So like if you're feeling anxious or you're having a moment or whatever, if you move forward and go into something that you're doing that you love to do, then it'll take you out of that funk, which is why I was like, I want to always be fun. I don't want to look at this as work. If it brings something monetary, that's fine. If it doesn't, it does not matter. I want this to move forward, and I want it to be fun, and I want it to be an outlet. And it also gives us a reason, even though we've done other things. Like, we went road trip.
And maybe we share that with them.
Maybe we'll share that because Lord of course I learned some things. But still, I have to say, it still gives us more and more reasons to spend more time around each other.
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this year with us. It will be exciting, and I guarantee you, if you don't learn something, you will at least verify what you already know. And even that will be rewarding for you. So come along on this journey. We have Dr. Fee, Dr. Kat, and I'm Dr. Bob. Together we are Dr. Up, and we are excited to take this journey with you. We'll see you next time.